Hi, good afternoon, everybody. We're live here at Token 2049 in Dubai. My name is Brett Reeves. I head up European sales and the Go network at BitGo. I'm here today with Nikita from Fasanara Digital. Nikita, perhaps today you could just tell us kind of your journey into crypto and kind of how you got here and Fasanara Digital was born.
Sure, yeah. Back in 2017, I was at university. I created a small research team to focus on quant trading of crypto. I thought it's a new space and quite undeveloped yet, immature, and there were a lot of arbitrage opportunities that you could see with naked eye. So I wanted to give it a go and created a team. We started building strategies, had a bit of success, Francesco, the CEO of Fasanara, he was mentoring me from the first year of university, I actually did an internship in 2017, and so 2018 I came to him. I said, I have this team, we're doing this quant trading of crypto. It's probably not yet ready for the prime time, but if we start now, maybe we'll have a nice opportunity to capture in due time. And so in 2018, me and my partner, we joined. It was really like interesting because we've never worked anywhere before, so it was like our first job. The goal was to build a fund. So really like from scratch, we started, so pretty much from the, I guess, from understanding what our strategy should be to developing some tools, to raising capital, to launching funds, and so on and so on. So over the past 7 years, we've scaled up quite a lot, and so we are now one of the largest market neutral funds in the space, and we also have a venture funds where we do some strategic investments, and we most recently launched a multi-strat where we run non-market neutral strategies, so both internally and externally.
That's an amazing journey. I think I've been in finance kind of 20 years on the traditional side, and obviously most people that launch a fund have either been at a bank or they've been within another fund and they try and spin out. I mean, to do it from university is quite unique, and I'm not sure I've heard of it being done before, so look, congratulations on that. That's absolutely unbelievable, and you're one of the best known kind of hedge funds in the crypto space, so it's an amazing accomplishment. What have you had to do? You've said you've never kind of worked in a job before when you did that. What are some of the core challenges you faced when building that up, both from a hedge fund perspective, in terms of you need to monitor the risk, you need to get investors in, but also from a crypto perspective, because when you started this, a lot of the technology is not what it was today in terms of OMS, PMS systems, risk monitoring, even going out to investors to talk to them about crypto.
Yeah, I mean, challenges, like probably every challenge you can think of, like we had to face. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of paint the picture, so I quite vividly remember like thinking about it, the first few months, like what our approach should be. I thought like I really need to try to come up with like some universal truth that should probably persist irrespective of what happens. And so one of those was not to blow up. I thought, a lot of hedge funds, I think the statistic is like average lifetime is like 3 years, which is obviously very skewed because there are like a lot of hedge funds that existed for a long time, 20, 30 years, you have a few of those. Yeah. The average, brings higher. And majority of the time is like people either don't raise enough or they blow up. So I really wanted to kind of avoid those two pitfalls. And so I wanted to pursue market neutral strategies because I thought, if we lose even a little bit of money, like we don't have any credibility, we don't have any track record to kind of convince people that they should stick with it. So I thought quite naively, but it kind of played out quite nicely that we should just never lose. We should just like try to make a little bit of money like every day, and if we prepare enough and like we're better tomorrow than we're today, then hopefully we're like well prepared to execute in a good market. But yeah, then like I think as you build up, yeah, a bit of technology, a bit of understanding of the market, you kind of start to see like the competition dynamics. You start yeah, getting the higher and higher like VIP levels on exchanges. You start getting some informal ratings. You're here and there, like and so that kind of tells you like a little bit of where you are and like what the competition is and so on. And yeah, I think we're quite competitive. We want to yeah, push hard, and all that kind of allowed us to yeah, navigate the market quite successfully.
And when, and you've been in this space a long time now. How have you seen the market change in terms of, I think we all agree it's matured. We've seen obviously the launch of the ETFs. They've been hugely successful from a Bitcoin perspective. Has that impacted you on the trading side as well? I imagine spreads have been squeezed, and so it's harder to make those kind of premiums that you literally could see with your naked eye before.
Yeah, I think like what we get often asked is, oh, competition is increasing, so these opportunities won't be available. What I always try to clarify, that's it's kind of two things that you should consider. One is, even though in the past you could be making 10, 20, 50, 100 bips per trade, but the total dollar P&L that you could be extracting or be rewarded for your liquidity provision was order of magnitude less than it is today. So it's kind of spread times volume is like what you need to care about. So that's kind of one thing. And then the two is, what are the requirements to capture those kind of P&Ls? And back in the day, you just had to have like a bit of capital, 2 exchange accounts, and you're good to go. Right now, you need to really invest a lot into infrastructure, and that's why I think like those more HFT-like returns, which are extremely high quality and I guess lower-ish capacity, they are shifting much more towards the proprietary trading firms. Because they're like you keep 100% of the P&L for the team, but then you could be much more aggressive on the infrastructure build out. And so what we've seen is yeah, like ourselves, we started like we never traded anything, right? So we started with through manual execution, and we started to be a bit more competitive, started to automate, and then started to build a lot of latency sensitive infrastructure pieces. And so it's all relative, right? So I think like we've now have by far the largest market share that we ever had. And so, but a lot of people that had a really big one, they kind of went out of business because they became non-competitive at all. And so to the fact of that is, I think the steady state where it's going to settle is there will be few 10, 20 firms that will be competing there, like in certain niches. But just like there are the same analogies in TradFi, the Citadel Securities of the world and their likes, they're doing that kind of trading. They're providing liquidity and making markets more liquid, more efficient. And so that's a service that is needed, but it will be highly concentrated in those few that are very optimized.
And I guess the kind of big, recent announcement from you is obviously your kind of managed account platform, and I guess there's two ways you grow as a company, right? It's investors coming directly into your funds that you're managing, and now you're kind of looking alternatively at other solutions that you can provide to kind of grow Fasanara Digital. How has that kind of come about, and why did you decide to go down that route?
We looked at a lot of business models, and I thought for a very long time that the multi-strat model is just by far the best business that you could be in. So it's kind of a nice blend of this almost like industrial plant setup where you have consistent flow of talent, you're capturing all the niche orthogonal return streams, and you're really like building something that's durable. And there are like a lot of examples, well, a lot, like 3-4 examples that kind of were able to scale and achieve really strong and solid returns that are uncorrelated, which is an extremely important part, and that are scalable. So these are kind of some of the key features that we would want to solve for with our funds. And so we've been for the past 6-7 years like extremely focused on doing just one thing, just being as complete, as diversified, as competitive on the market neutral side. And so we've grew the team, grew like our resources, and we thought that now is the right time to venture into this multi-strat. And effectively, the best way to think about it is we really want to be a platform, a partner for the external managers, where we essentially leverage a lot of these, hard learned solutions for interacting with the market. So it's how to get the data as fast as possible, how to make it very precise, how to have really a scalable research environment, how to have like a big credit lines, and a lot of these things that any team that wants to operate at a reasonable enough scale need to solve. So we essentially want to be like this platform that allows us to monetize the research of some of those very talented teams out there. And so we thought that that's the right time to pursue it. We launched it in March and aggressively scaling it up.
And so for anyone watching today, who are you kind of targeting, or what do they need to kind of know if they want to come onto the Fasanara digital platform?
To be honest, like we looked at I think 250 different teams over the past year. Wow. So we're always happy to look at more. What we care the most is how additive and how diversifying the returns are. Obviously, like if somebody is running extremely high sharp strategies, then that's interesting for us. But it's not one-dimensional optimization. There are a lot of other constraints that we're thinking about. So we want to the returns to be really additive. So we look at what our portfolio looks like. We try to understand much more deeply what the return factors that are contributing to the P&L. And we want to be as diversified as possible, such that irrespective of market dynamic, which actually changes quite a lot, that we just keep on performing quite nicely. So for any team that wants to reach out, we're happy to have a chat and to have a look what can be done together.
Great. No, I think that's really exciting. I think getting new people into the space and new products available is something the market needs. I think we're starting to turn a corner with obviously a lot of more institutional interest. Personally, I still think we need regulations to be written down on a piece of paper. At the moment, it's still very kind of subjective. It's great hearing all the positive momentum, but until there's clarity, a lot of these kind of big institutional investors are kind of still sitting on the sidelines a little bit. We're here at Token Dubai. There's been a lot of announcements on stage already. I'm sure there's going to be some today as well. What's kind of exciting for you in the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Well, I think it's more internal than external, okay. If I can frame it like that. I think we're on a quite nice trajectory. Like we have very well-defined goals with preset deadlines for them. And so I think we kind of know what next 5-6 steps are. And we just, really excited to be in position to do the best job we can to get there. Which is really keep on building out our footprint, our connectivity, our just sophistication of like how we interact with the market. I think like our goal, so to say, at least next year or 2 years, is to really become this one-stop shop for institutional capital coming into the space. So we've actually done quite a lot of work on like operational sides. I think much more so than like that is the industry standard, so to say. And I think like we started to see like a lot more institutional interest. And so what we're interested is to really like partner up with like big institutions like pension funds, endowments, which we actually started to get like tickets from for the first time this year. And so really like scaling up the business and being like, again, as diversified as possible. And so in terms of, I guess like outside of us, like more broadly, I think it's been quite interesting to observe, the launch of some of the new exchanges and the market share that they are starting to get. That's been quite surprising, because I would have thought that by now it's already like quite well settled, like where the key players are. But some exchanges pop in and get like a reasonable market share for the time that they were launched. And I guess like the one more thing to bring up is like the growth of stablecoins. I think that's perhaps Circle could be inching closer to the IPO, and that could bring a bit more clarity on like how that business model works, and how that is valued. And I think like there are like a lot more stablecoin issuers coming in, which I'm curious how they're gonna do. But there is clearly amazing market fit. Stables are like 200 billion plus in total market cap, growing very steadily, and that's a pretty nice testament to the adoption.
Yeah, I think we're seeing two of those themes a lot, both in terms of the stablecoin and the institutional investors. And we rely very heavily on our kind of regulated status. So we've just been approved here by VARA. So we have a regulatory custody license here in Dubai. We've done the same in Singapore and Germany and the US as well. And that's all for this kind of what we hope is the influx of this institutional money starting to come in here, and they want to use kind of tried and tested custody models, then partnering with people such as yourselves to try and then give them access to the market so that they can invest in a safe way and get the returns they're looking for. I think as well with the stable coins, here we have our own stable coin that's coming, and off the back of that we've helped very recently launch kind of World Liberty's $1. We run a full stable coin as a service business now, so trying to help people where they want to use that to be able to mint and burn and create their own stable coins. Obviously we've got Wyoming State is looking in the US to do their own. I think Bank of America is very kind of publicly been mentioned, and I think it's an interesting space where it's going to go. Obviously I think from an American perspective, as our company is, I think the Stablecoin Act in the US that's being worked on very actively at the moment is very interesting, and just being able to move assets around kind of real time, it's going to kind of be game changing, and we're seeing some of the banks really kind of try and look at how they can adopt that. I think, look, I know we're very busy at the moment. I don't know if you've got any kind of last final words that you want to mention around Fasanara, but otherwise, thank you very much for coming on the podcast, and look, we hope to see you again soon.
Sure. I don't think I have too much more to say. I think we're committed to being a really active market participant and providing liquidity and being a good player, adult in the room, so to say, and really trying to be a steward of capital in the space.
Thanks everyone for tuning in today. I just wanted to say a special thank you to Nikita. It's been an absolute pleasure having him on our podcast today. If you want any more information either on BitGo, Fasanara Digital, or Nikita himself, our kind of website and handles will be in the information below. Thanks again, and please tune in next time.